It says here that I'm pregnant. No, wait, that means I'm positive for COVID. Oh my God. What am I gonna do now? Let's ask the Cheeky Chamoran. What do you say, Cheeky Chamoran? Make a drink? I concur. Good evening, partners, pals, promoters, and plebes. Also, my support group. Welcome to another peppy episode of Before the Mast, a show where I show you how to drink like a sailor. Oh, fuck. And talk like one too, apparently. Sorry, Mom. I am Aaron Burks, unworthy as I am to carry on the family name, ironically, the only one carrying on the family name. Sometimes Darwin laughs at us all. Tonight we're going to be trying out the Perfect Manhattan, the last Man-episode before the final Man-episode, where I try all of them side by side and tell you which one I like best. Well, that should be a boozy episode. We should make preparations for the hangover. The Perfect Manhattan is basically a compromise between all three before explored Manhattans. Kind of like the Triumvir of Rome. It is a balance between sweet and dry. So if somebody asks you for a perfect Manhattan, don't get bent out of shape. They're not asking for the holy grail of cocktails. Although, if someone is asking you to make them a cocktail, you have been given a sacred duty, entrusted by Dionysus with a hallowed undertaking. You should perform this solemn office to your utmost ability. But enough inebriation pontification. Let's head to the Laka Laka Lounge to get tonight's intoxicative items. Sup? For this drink, you will need rye, slow and low again, sweet vermouth, dry vermouth, Angostura bitters, and orange bitters. I'm also using Angostura. Maraschino cherries for a garnish, a mixing glass and a bar spoon, ice, and a chilled coupe glass. Let's do this shit. This better be perfect, or I'll bust your nose. Start with 2 ounces of slow and low rye. Next up is half an ounce of dry vermouth. And half an ounce of sweet vermouth. Two dashes of Angostura bitters. One dash of orange bitters. Add ice. And stir for about a minute. Produce your chilled coupe glass. Strain that bad boy in there like I am straining to get through this video. Add your garnish, and there it is. The perfect Manhattan. Cheers, you sick bastards. You know, that's really not too bad. Maybe it's just because I can't really taste anything right now. That's not true. I can still taste. It might be dulled a little bit though. Yeah, I don't know. Do with that what you will. But it's actually for a spirit forward drink, this is actually pretty smooth. It's got a smooth start. And a spicy finish. You can only assume that's the rye. The balance of the dry and the sweet vermouth really do something for this drink. Dare I say, this is the perfect Manhattan. Yes. Perfect. Speaking of perfection, you want to know what did not go down perfectly? Boot camp graduation. See, boot camp graduation, called pass and review in the United States Navy, is a highly choreographed ceremony, a ritual rich with tradition and symbolism. Rituals as old as Noah, such as christening a ship, or ringing bells to denote time, or the call of the bosun pipe, or rituals that are perhaps only as old as Noah's grandson, such as 8 o'clock reports or cleaning stations. Material maintenance management. The military, and probably the Navy in particular, considers tradition sacred. Much like a secret society, there are many traditions that have been passed down from generation to generation since the Phoenicians first took to the Mediterranean Sea. Ancient rites such as crossing the line usher a new sailor into a saltier era of his career. Why, in the Navy, there are several sacred orders, each with different prerequisites that must be met. Orders such as the solemn mysteries of the ancient order of the deep, the silent mysteries of the Far East, the order of the ditch, the order of the blue nose, the order of the red nose. But I digress. Pass and review is one of these ancient rites. Before a recruit is officially considered a sailor and sent to the fleet, the recruit must march past with their entire boot camp division, paying homage to whatever admirals and other high-ranking dignitaries may be attending this ceremony. But before we get too far into pass and review, we must go through 9 weeks of pure, unadulterated boot camp hell training. Now, if you've watched episodes 18 and 19, you will already be aware that in 1996, this was not, in fact, easy breezy lemon squeezy. Now, within the division, certain recruits are picked by the recruit division commanders to fill certain administrative roles. Sometimes a recruit is picked for a role because he happened to be the first poor schlub the RDC looked at when he walked in the room. For instance, the first clown our RDC saw when he walked in was given the job of RPOC, or Recruit Petty Officer in Charge. Sometimes it was because the RDC liked the name. For instance, we had a guy named Creamer, upon who the RDCs bestowed the sacred duty of Coffee P.O. Rarely is it ever based on merit or experience. In fact, the first thing our RDCs did was to ask who was prior service. He told those guys to go to the back of the compartment. Then he asked who had been a United States Naval Sea Cadet or an NJROTC. 3 of us took a step forward, and he said, "Great, on your face." Dominance established. The RPOC was given the responsibility of a Chief Petty Officer, under the watchful eye of the RDC, of course. He was even given a little CPO pin to wear on his collar. But in reality, this was a horrible job. Anytime anything went wrong, Seaman Recruit Joe Shit the Ragman didn't remember his sailor's creed during inspection. RPOC! Recruit Schmuckatelli's dog tags are missing. RPOC! Seaman Recruit Crotch Rot has trench foot. Jesus, Mary, Joseph. RPOC! Well, no sailor ever in the history of naval warfare reported aboard USS Neversail and said, "I'm Seaman Recruit Dumbass. I was an RPOC. Give me a middle rack." No. Nobody gives a shit. In fact, I can imagine all sorts of shenanigans that are about to befall such a sad soul. Why, the name of the phantom shitter is usually invoked in situations such as these. Anywho, ceremonially the RPOC commanded the division and passed a review. One of the most important commands given is the command of eyes right. At this command, the entire division, with the exception of the right column and the first man in each column, snapped their heads to the right to look at the dignitaries. Well, Ricky RPOC forgot to call eyes right. He did his salute. He just forgot the crucial step of telling the rest of us to. Well, at the end of boot camp, we were all a well-trained, well-oiled machine. It was literally beaten to us to only move when commanded to do so. Well, we weren't commanded to do so. Well, as soon as the ceremony concluded, the RDCs came and got the RPOC. There he was, braced at parade rest, shaking his head emphatically while the rest of us all hugged our families and generally smiled about the occasion. When we got back to the compartment, each recruit was called into the office one by one. We were all asked if we had heard the command, eyes right. Nobody heard it. Well, then they watched the video. It didn't look like he said it, and he was definitely the only one that did it. It didn't look good for this guy. Well, later that day, while everyone else was busy talking with family or going to the exchange to spend all the piles of money they had saved up over the past 9 weeks, $753.24. The RPOC just disappeared. never to be seen by anyone from the division again. Don't worry, he wasn't taken care of. He didn't end up at the bottom of Lake Michigan or anything. No. The Arpak was apparently asthmaed, set back in training. Well, the scuttlebutt was that he was kicked back so far in training that he woke up in a dark room in MEPS with a sausage finger in his butthole. Well, he went to a new boot camp division, that poor bastard. Not as a has-been, no. He went to his new boot camp division as a definitely will not be. Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you don't do things perfectly. So, next time you're drinking a perfect Manhattan, raise a toast to the imperfect Arpak. Legend has it he's doomed to repeat week 1 of boot camp for all eternity.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning, put him in the longboat until he's sober. Put him in the longboat until he's sober. Put him in the longboat until he's sober. Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning.
And what the fuck is this thing called? Bob Saget. In homage, whatever.